Did you see this? The federal government is now warning Canadians about foreign regimes silencing critics online. But as the old adage goes, I think that phone call's coming from inside the house. That video has the grave tone and the uppity moral outrage and the helpful little paternalistic government knows best reminder to think before you share. And that takes some serious nerve out of these people. Because the last time Ottawa was caught leaning on social media companies to suppress speech, it wasn't in some far-off dictatorship. It was right here in Canada. And the proof didn't come from conspiracy theorists. It came out at the official inquiry into the government's use of the wartime law against its own citizens. The Public Order Emergency Commission. Those documents are on the record in black and white. Documents submitted to that commission showed the federal government, actually the Privy Council office, pressuring Facebook, Google, Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, and Microsoft during the Freedom Convoy. Not to stop violence because there was none, not to stop crimes. Crime actually went down during the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa, but to deal with what they called problematic content. What does that mean? Political dissent, embarrassing videos, peaceful organizing, criticism of an authoritarian state. Now, after that show theater of a commission, a real court ruled that the Emergencies Act, that nuclear option of Canadian law, was used unconstitutionally.
The honourable member for Sturgeon River Parkland.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Public Safety, and the Minister for Emergency Preparedness have repeatedly stated that there is evidence of foreign extremist financing behind this convoy. Last week at Public Safety Committee, Deputy Director of Intelligence for FinTrack, Barry McKillop, stated that there is no evidence that this funding in Ottawa is tied to ideologically motivated extremism. Under further questioning, he stated that there has been no spike in suspicious transactions. Under what basis is this government freezing the bank accounts of Canadians in violation of Section 8 of the Charter against unreasonable search and seizure?
Le très honorable Premier Ministre.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is going to be extremely important that in this House over the coming days there will be important and robust debate on many such issues. But I can highlight once again, Mr. Speaker, that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms continues to apply. The Emergencies Act is subject to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and the measures that we've brought forward are proportional, measured, and responsible. And designed to get Canadians their lives back, their communities back, and restore their freedoms.
So this isn't a government that might someday abuse speech controls. This is a government that's already run a censorship stress test on its own population and then ultimately failed in court. So when the same people now post videos warning about foreign intimidation tactics and critics disappearing from your feed, Canadians aren't just raising an eyebrow. They are community noting these people into next week about the government's efforts to censor Canadians one more time with Bill C-9, which will censor Christian speech inside churches as hateful. You can learn more at protectreligiousfreedom.ca. You don't get to pretend you're fighting authoritarianism after quietly phoning tech platforms to scrub domestic peaceful dissent. You don't get to warn about coordinated harassment after quite literally coordinating harassment and then coordinating censorship. And you definitely don't get to say, think before you share, when what you really mean is, think before you embarrass us, or else. Their emergency powers failed, the courts pushed back, so what's the new plan here to censor Canadians? A permanent law. No emergency declaration, no sunset clause on Bill C-9, no extraordinary justification for bringing it in. Just ordinary legislation completely rewriting the rules of protest and worship forever under the banner of safety. The new standard is simple. If your protest is inconvenient, If your presence is uncomfortable, if your message is politically disruptive, congratulations, Canadians, you're flirting with criminal code consequences of up to 10 years. Freedom of speech in Canada, it's for approved opinions. Freedom of protest, only if it doesn't disrupt the official narrative. Freedom of belief, until it contradicts liberal ideology. You see, the liberals aren't trying to silence violent extremists. We already have laws to do that. They just refuse to use them. They're trying to filter out law-abiding citizens. And here's the real danger. It's not that people will be jailed in massive numbers. I actually don't think that's going to happen. It's that people will stop speaking at all because the legal risks have become too vague or too much, the enforcement unpredictable, and the consequences, frankly, catastrophic. We will be living in the horror of self-censorship, submitting ourselves to censorship. Right now, Canadians can still community note these hypocrites. Right now, the public can still correct the record in real time, and sunlight can punch directly through the darkness of the official spin. But that only works while speech is still free. Because if this government gets its way with Bill C-9, the ability to speak truth to power won't just be discouraged, it could become criminalized. Community notes only exist in a free society. For now, Canadians can still correct their leaders. But this government isn't warning you about censorship because it fears it. It's warning you about censorship because it wants to control who gets to use it next. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. To sign our petition against the government's efforts to censor what we can say inside our churches, please go to protectreligiousfreedom.ca.